Hi, everybody. Welcome to the July forecast for Virgo of 2020. Now, the first thing I did, I drew a psychic card. We have moving on. And yes, you are moving on. You're letting go of patterns of behavior. You're letting go of things that no longer serve your highest good. You are a different person. The same things that felt good to you in the past no longer feel good to you. But it's all good because you're letting go and you're moving forward. Now, I want to talk about the planetary aspects. And we're going to talk about at the end of June first, because we have a Jupiter conjunct Pluto conjunction in Capricorn in your fifth house. And pretty much that says you're expanding issues where it comes with your dating life, your children, or your creativity. And what I mean by that is you are expanding who you are in those areas of your life and getting rid of the things that no longer fit you any longer. Then after that, we've got Uranus in Taurus in the 9th house, sextiling the Sun in Cancer in the 11th house. Now, that pretty much means you've got changes in your philosophies, in your beliefs. It might be media, might be, your social interaction with how you broadcast yourself. All of these different areas, because it also does rule the news media. But it's sextiling your Sun in the 11th house, and that's saying that you're going to overcome the issues that you have with your friendships, in the groups that you belong to, all these areas. And it's because your beliefs. I mean, if you believe something, and of course the 9th house is your higher mind. So, and again, moving on, the 9th house that rules the higher mind, and you have mental that you are dealing with, and you're letting go of all these issues mentally. Well, you're doing that, I think, with the help of your groups, with your dreams, and the things that you want to accomplish. Now, on the 1st, you've got Saturn retrograding in Capricorn, and that would be your 5th house. Now, basically, you're going back over issues with your children, your creative life, and your dating life. And the reason it has retrograded back to this point, it wants to make sure that you've learned your lessons that you were supposed to learn over the last couple years. And if you did, when it finally leaves Capricorn for good and moves on into Aquarius, it'll leave you a little gift. But first, it wants to make sure that you've learned those lessons that you needed to learn over the past 2.5 years. And for you, that has to deal with your children, your creative life, how you find joy, and your children. Now, you're going to have a lunar eclipse on the 4th of July or the 5th of July, depending where you're at in the globe. Now, a lunar eclipse, they're generally emotional. Now, don't think it's going to be a great big bad thing, okay? We all have an eclipse, but it has to activate our chart in order for it to work. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to activate for you your 11th house and your 5th house. And that is, you've got the 11th house is where your Sun is, Cancer. And then your 5th house is where the moon is in Capricorn in your 5th. Now, basically with this, it's either going to work out in a couple of scenarios here. Your children aren't going to like your friendships or the dreams that you have. The guy or the girl you're dating is not going to like the groups you're hanging out with or your friendships, or your creative life isn't going over that well in the groups that you're trying to take a hold of. There's some type of opposition happening there. So just know that you are emotionally connected to this. And it's going to bring an ending for you in that area. So, I mean, if your child doesn't like who you're dating, there's going to be some type of ending, a behavior pattern that maybe was happening. Because remember, for you, everything, is in your mind, because you are moving on. Now, on the 8th, we've got Mercury in Cancer in the 11th house, squaring Mars and Aries in the 8th house. And again, Mercury is still retrograde, and it has to do with your 11th house for you. So you're really confused with your friendships, okay, and what to do about that, because they are no longer meshing with the actions you were taking to get over an addiction, to get over, something with 8th house matters. And that could be, other people's money. That could be, I'm trying to think here of what 8th house is. It's transformation. It's death and rebirth. It's a lot of things. And I mean, it could be pretty simple that, the actions that you're taking for your rebirth aren't meshing with the groups that you belong to anymore, or the friendships that you have. And that's okay. Wish them peace and let them go. But again, that it's Mercury retrograde. You don't have your thoughts all together in that area too well yet. And then on the 12th, we have got Mercury going direct in Cancer. And for you, that's the 11th house. So you're going to be getting your thoughts together with your friendships, with the groups that you belong to, and with your hopes and dreams and all the goals that you want to accomplish. Now, and pretty much with Mercury going direct, as a Virgo, how you like to, you just don't. You don't like to be under anybody's thumb, and you will do whatever you have to do to get out from that. And this is pretty much what you're going to start doing. You're going to get that clarity of how to get out of that situation. Now, on the 12th, you've got the Sun in Cancer in the 11th, trining Neptune in Pisces in the 7th. And pretty much your groups and your goals, the groups and the goals that you have, you're going to overcome the illusions that you've been living with. You're all in partnerships, because the 7th house does rule partnerships. It rules open enemies. It can rule a small pet. And so you're going to overcome all these illusions that you've had in these partnerships, due to the groups that you belong to now. Now, your next one is on the 14th, and you've got the Sun in Cancer in the 11th opposing Jupiter in Capricorn in your 5th. Pretty much that could say that, you know, issues are expanding with your children because they don't like your friendships, or they don't like the groups that you belong to, or you could be 100% on the same page with your children and leaving friendships behind because of, you know, the issues that have expanded with your children. Could also be your creativity or your dating life, that these issues are expanding in the groups that you belong to, which, you know, you are making you emotional. Now, on the 15th, again, you've got the Sun in Cancer in the 11th, opposing Pluto in Capricorn in the 5th. And this is where you're going to expose yourself to your child or to the group that you belong to, you know, about your childhood. You know, you have to remember you are protective of the people that you love. And generally that's the person that you're dating or, you know, having a romantic relationship with, or your children. And yes, you can be protective of them, but you've also got to let them be who they are, as well as they have to let you be who you are. And these groups are that you're with are bringing your emotional nature out, I do believe. And they're stripping away the layers that need to come away with your dating life or your children. You're actually seeing everything more clearly now because you are able to strip these away. And this group you belong to might be stripping away issues you've had since childhood. Now, on the 20th, we have the Sun in Cancer in the 11th, and that is opposing Saturn in the 5th house of Capricorn. And here you're learning how to trust the people that you love and the things, you know, that you want. You're trusting that they'll come to you in their due time. You know, and you're also being trusting to where you're being led. Now, with it being the Sun, being the house of friendships, goals, you know, you're totally invested in this. This group, I really do think you're invested in, and I think that they're showing you here that the structures that you had in childhood weren't healthy, okay? And you're having to let go of that. Your childhood, you know, with it being in Capricorn, everybody had all these expectations on you. They always made you responsible for everything. And you weren't. You were a child. But because of that, you always felt like you were responsible for everything in your dating life, or, you know, you were the blame for why relationships went wrong, or when your children weren't acting right, you were taking the blame for that. You were not responsible for everybody's behavior. You're only responsible for yours. And this is something you're learning. And for Virgos, it's really hard to be lighthearted and have fun. And this is something you've been learning over the last 2.5 years, is learning how to let go and put more fun into your life. Now, on the 22nd, we have the sun entering Leo. And basically, that is the sun entering Leo, looking here, okay, is your 12th house. And again, you're embracing the unknown right now. You're embracing your psychic side also. And you're looking within, okay, at the deepest part of you. You're getting rid of what those behaviors that no longer serve you. And you're being very lighthearted and happy because of this. You're finding more joy in your own peace. You're finding more joy, and happiness just in by being alone. And, you can go into your own mind and make yourself happy. You don't need a bunch of people to make you happy anymore. Now, on the 22nd, we've got Mercury in Cancer in the 11th house, and that is sextiling Uranus in Taurus in the 9th house. And again, it's saying here that you're communicating with friends. And it's basically, it's about your belief system and, in your philosophies. But you're communicating in a way, it could be on media. It could be on Facebook. It can be you're publishing a book, okay? But you're sharing yourself with someone or a group of people that you're able to get your philosophies out there and your belief system out there in order to bring like-minded people into your life. Now on the 27th, we have Jupiter in Capricorn, and that is in your 5th house. And that is sextiling Neptune in Pisces in the 7th house. And that's pretty much saying, because of the changes that you have made internally from the scars that have been left on you, that you're feeling blessed with your relationship with your children, with your relationship with the person you're dating. You're just feeling blessed naturally in life because you no longer have these scars that are holding you back. You see what's been holding you back. There's no more illusions. And you now realize you had to change your own behaviors and in the way that you reacted to these situations that were happening to you in order to change everything for yourself. Now also on the 27th, we have got Venus in Gemini in the 10th house, squaring again Neptune in Pisces in the 7th house. And, pretty much you're now seeing that dullness to you, that you were basically attracted to charming people that could talk a good line, but had no substance to them. They were real good talkers, and they made you feel powerful. But when it all came down to it, they were just talking, okay? There was no substance behind it, and you had to strip away things that weren't working for you. You had to see these illusions in that behavior in order to change yourself and how you react it to other people. Because in the end, you want somebody that you're compatible with. You don't want someone that leaves illusions on you. Or, I mean, with it, well, no, not in the seventh house. But you're just basically, you know, you are now realizing that you're in control and you have the power over the choices that you make in your love life. There doesn't need to be a duality to it. Then on the 27th, we have got Mercury in Cancer in the 11th house, squaring Mars in Aries in the 8th house. And you're basically putting your heart and your mind into the groups that you belong to. And because of it, you're seeing the actions that you were taking and how they weren't working. You're stripping away those behaviors because they were the behaviors that were taught to you that left scars. So all I can say, Virgo, is keep moving on. You've got this. And I'll see you next month. Have a great July. Bye-bye.